Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about making and selling candles. And today's video is going to be just kind of a really fun video. I decided to have a little bit of a challenge for myself and try to make the best candle I possibly could using only candle making supplies that I purchased through Amazon. So I'm just gonna go through and show you guys everything that I got, all of the supplies that I'm using. And as you read from the title, we are going to be making Captain Crunch scented candles. I'm really excited about this. This is actually a scent that I purchased from Amazon, but Virginia Candle Supply actually sells a lot of their products on Amazon. And I was really excited about that because I was really trying to find not off-brand, kind of supplies. I really tried to see if I could find more candle making branded items on Amazon. That's really what I was looking for. Now, I do want to preface, I don't know if these supplies are available on every Amazon because I know every country has their own kind of Amazon website. So I will have everything linked below, but I can't guarantee that it's going to be available in your country if you don't live in the United States. So this one right here, Captain Crunch scented fragrance oil. So I'm really excited about this. I just got an 8-ounce bottle. And in today's video, I am going to be keeping everything the same. So I'm not going to be playing around with a bunch of different scents. I'm going to be keeping everything the same so that the testing process can be a little bit more accurate. I also do want to let you guys know, I'm not going to be adding the testing into today's video. I am setting a reminder on my phone for 2 weeks out to test it, film it, and then just create a separate updated video for you guys, just so you can see what it looks like. I just really wanted to film this and get this listed. I didn't want to have to wait the 2 weeks, so I hope you guys don't mind that, but just know there will be an updated video, and I promise I will update that for you guys. So getting into all of the products in here. So I purchased wick stickers from Amazon. So these are just little wick stickers, sticky on both sides, just very basic. These I actually purchased quite a while ago because I tried to film this video back in fall of 2020 and it was a complete disaster. I believe I worked with 415 wax, 415. It was terrible. I absolutely hated it. It wasn't even worth posting, and I filmed it on my iPhone, so it was a while ago. But I had purchased these during that time. I actually purchased a couple of these during that time, and these are what we're going to be using to center the wicks. And then I also have some supplies that I did purchase on Amazon, but I didn't purchase specifically for this video. I just have them, and they are just scales. So I have a scale to measure the wax and a scale to measure the fragrance oil. I always get people asking what's the difference. These can both measure up to the 10th decimal point, which is what I'm looking for. I just think that this one is slightly more accurate than this one when it comes to weighing out the fragrance oil, and that's just my personal opinion. And then this is what we're going to be using to actually weigh the fragrance oil. So these are cute little silicone measuring cups that I use to weigh out my fragrance oil with. And then we have our jars. So these are actually the same jars that I started with. So if you guys look way back on my channel, when I first got started with filming on YouTube, I was using these straight-sided jars. So these have the black lid, and then they are just the 9-ounce straight-sided jars, and these can hold 7 ounces of wax. And these are from Northwood Candle Supply. Nope, these are from North Mountain Supply. So I will, again, have all that linked down below. And then we have, I should probably show you guys the wax that we're gonna be using. You're probably so interested in that. It is C6 wax. So this is a coconut and soy blend. And I'm really excited about this because I have not yet worked with it. And I actually got this from Virginia Candle Supply through Amazon. So again, I was looking for a candle supplier name on these products. And I'm really glad I was able to find that. So I believe this is just a 5-pound, it's either 5 or 10 pounds. I believe it's a 5-pound bag of the C6 wax. So coconut, soy wax, I'm really excited to try it out. And then I also purchased the candle making Maker Store sells CD wicks on Amazon, from what I found. This took me a while to search and try to find some things, not just like a corded or a cotton wick. I don't want something that I don't know what it is. I want to know the numbers and I want to know exactly what it is. So this is a CD8 wick. I don't know how well it's going to perform with this wax, with this diameter, which this diameter I believe is just shy of 3 inches, I believe. I will have more information linked down below in the description box if you guys need some more information on these. But yeah, I don't know how well the CD8 wicks are going to perform, but that's why we test and we figure it out. I'm also going to slightly cheat a little bit, and only for the purposes of testing. So technically, one candle of these will be all Amazon supplies. However, I just really wanted to test out a couple different wicks as well, because we're going to be making 3 candles. It's going to be the same amount of wax, the same percentage of fragrance oil, the same kind of fragrance oil, but I did want to change up the wick just to test it out. So this one right here is from the Flaming Candle, and it's a CD10 wick. So I wanted to try against the CD8 and see how it was going to perform, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be too small or not. And then also I really wanted to test the CD in wicks from 1617, because I had tried these with the West Coast jars with the Soy Bliss wax, and the C6 worked really well. So I'm just curious to see how it's going to perform with this wax in these jars. Oh, and then the last couple things is I have my cutter right here. So this is to cut up the wax. I recently got this for my own wax. So if you guys are going to be working with any kind of slabs, I really recommend this. It helps out a lot, takes a lot of the work in actually cutting up the wax, because that has always been an issue for me. And then right here I have my hot plate. So this I've had since the beginning of candle making. It's really old, but it's gonna work for today's video. And then I have my tiny little pot. And then I got this a while ago. I don't necessarily know where I got it from, but I've had it for a while, so I figured I would use it in this video. But I'm sure that you could find little 1 pound pouring pitchers if you're just getting started and just kind of want to play around. You can either get the 1 pound or the 2 pound pouring pitchers. It's either 2 or 4 pounds. Actually, you know what? It's 4 pounds. So that's everything. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So what I'm gonna do first, also this is a little wick setter. You guys will be seeing me use that right now. But this, I will link the Etsy shop down below. I get all of my custom wick holders and all that kind of stuff from him. So I will put these out of the way since I don't really need the wicks right now. Actually, you know what? I do kind of need them, but I need to clean these first. So I'm going to just open these up and get these all cleaned out. All right, and then before I forget, I just want to make sure that I make little stickers for all of these so that I know exactly what wicks are in there and that I don't mix them up, because that is definitely something I would do. So I'm just going to go through and put which wicks I'm using for which jar. All right, so I went ahead and changed the angle since I'm pretty sure you guys care more about seeing what I'm doing than staring at my face from like 10 feet away. So I'm gonna just get started with wicking these. So I went ahead and cleaned all the bottoms with rubbing alcohol. So this is the CD8 wick that I purchased from Amazon, from the Candle Maker Store, and I'm just gonna be putting it in this one. Now, I am not the best when it comes to wicking single wicks, but I can give it my best shot. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to use that. I will use that on the next one. Whoopsies. Okay, that probably would have been easier, huh? Okay, so I'll use that just to push it down. So let's see, how did I do? That's not too bad. That looks pretty centered. All right, so we got that one. The next one is the CD10 wick from the Flaming Candle, and I have had these for so long. I got a sampler pack from the Flaming Candle such a long time ago when I first got started with candle making, probably in the winter of 2019, I would say. Oh, gotta use this. I don't want to mess that up again. All right, let's see. All right, not too bad either. That's pretty centered. I know they don't have to be perfect, but I do try to make them a little bit more centered. Now, what I noticed on the CD8 wicks is that those ones are 5 inches, and this one is 6 inches. So you can kind of see a difference in the actual length of it. Not that it matters too much. I actually like the 5-inch one more because it's using less of the wick. Less of the wick you have to actually trim. And then the next one is going to be the CDN 6 wicks from 1617, just to see how it's going to perform. So with this one, grab the little wick, put it, or the wick sticker, put that on it. Now the only thing I don't like about these wick stickers is it doesn't have a little tab to easily pull them off. I have to use my nail to do it, which is not a big deal, but I used to not have any nails, so that would have really been hard if you don't really have any nails. Let's go ahead and get that down in the center as best as I can. Push that in. All right. There is that one. That one is probably the least centered one out of all of them, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to take these wick centering devices. I love these. They just snap on and it really kind of holds it in. And snap that. And snap that. All right, so now I'm going to be cutting up the wax, and what I realized, let me show you guys the calculations of what I'm gonna be doing. So what I realized, I hope you guys are actually able to see this. So what I'm doing is 8.8% fragrance oil. So these can hold 7 ounces of wax, which is 198 grams. I prefer working in grams, but I did put in parentheses the ounces as well. So this is just for one candle. So for one candle, it's 16 grams of fragrance oil with 182 grams of wax. And then what I have to do, because these pitchers, they are 1 pound pouring pitcher, so it can't hold anything more than a pound. So I have to break it up into 2 different kind of pours, which works really well because I want to get a guide on the first one. So what I'm gonna do is just make enough for 1 candle, and then I can make a little guide so that I know how full to fill up the rest of them. So what I'm gonna do is actually just do 182 grams, melt that down, add in 16 grams of fragrance oil, pour it, and then we will move on from there. And then after that, we'll be able to make 2 at a time. Also, these caps look a little weird. I think they put like a sealant or something on them. I don't remember my other caps looking like that when I purchased from these a couple years ago. So that was a little strange. So I'm gonna change this over to grams. And then tare it, and then I'm just gonna be filling this up with 182 grams of wax. Okay, so there's 182 grams, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys up close what the consistency of this wax is. So it is pretty creamy, but it is a little dry. It's hard to explain. It's almost like a mixture of like a creamy wax, but then it has a little bit of dryness to it that I'm not as used to with other forms of slab wax that I've worked with. So I just kind of wanted to put my input with that on the actual consistency of the wax. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to turn on my little hot plate, and then we are going to melt down this wax. Now, traditionally with coconut wax, you do want to melt it probably up to 200 degrees, sometimes even a little bit hotter depending on the wax. And if you guys are not familiar with having a hot plate or doing the double boiler method, which is what we are about ready to do, it doesn't always get that hot. So I am going to get it as hot as possible, and then we are just gonna work with what we can. As long as I can get it up to around 185, 190, that's about the temperature that I wanna take it to, just so that the fragrance oil can actually bind with the wax. But I did wanna throw that in there, that typically with coconut wax, you want to heat it as high as possible. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on my double boiler. And then while we are waiting for that to melt, we can do actually, you know what? We need to do a little smell test on this just to see if this actually smells like Captain Crunch cereal. I have worked with so much like Fruity Pebbles and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't worked with something that supposedly smells like Captain Crunch, and I don't want to touch this with my fingers because I don't want fragrance oil all over my fingers. So I'm just gonna put that right there. And okay. Huh. Okay, It's very, very potent. It's very strong. I'm assuming this is gonna smell a lot more like Captain Crunch when you actually make a candle out of it. But so far, it definitely gives off like a Captain Crunch kind of scent to it. I can definitely pick up on that. If you guys hear the bubbling of the double boiler in the background, I apologize for the noise, but I'm just gonna measure out 16 grams of fragrance oil. So it's 16.2. I don't always hit it right on the dot, and I always know that some of it is going to cling on to whatever you are using to pour the fragrance oil out of. So I know that 0.2 grams is probably going to stay at the bottom, so it'll probably be around 16 when I actually pour it in. All right, so it's completely melted, and it's at about 198, 199, which this is a laser thermometer, and I know personally that mine is about 10-ish degrees hotter. It says that it's 10 degrees hotter than what it actually is. So I know that it's around 188, 192 probably right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn off the warmer, and I'm going to pour in the fragrance oil and immediately stir it. So this is a glass stirring device, again from Amazon. And I'm just going to keep this tilted over to try to get as much of that fragrance oil out as possible. And I like to keep it hot still while I am stirring it. And then I'm going to take it off of it and just stir a little bit longer. All right, and then I'm just going to wipe off the bottom because otherwise it's gonna drip water everywhere. And then now I'm going to pour it. Okay, so typically when I am pouring into a new vessel and I'm wanting to make multiples of it that don't typically have a line, I would have to take a little piece of aluminum foil to get kind of that guidance when I'm pouring multiple candles. But right here we can see it fills up directly right until this line. So I know that when I fill up the other 2 jars, I'm just gonna be pouring right up until this first little line right here. All right, so first one is poured, so now we're gonna be making both of them. So with this one, I'm gonna be doing 364 grams of wax, and we're gonna be doing the same thing. All right, so that's all set there. I'm gonna turn that back on. By the way, I always keep a little water bottle whenever I'm doing a double boiler method. That way I can make sure that I'm continuously filling it with water. I have burnt this thing many times. That's why it's really gross. So I've messed up many times. So just keep like a water bottle or something there just so you can fill it up. I put in probably about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch of water, just depending. And I just like to make sure that it doesn't completely boil away while it's trying to heat up the wax. And then with the fragrance oil, we're gonna be measuring out 32 grams of wax. That's 33, so pour it back in. I really love these with a little spout because if I over pour, it makes it so much easier to pour a little bit back in. There we go. So 32.2. All right, so this is at about 191, 192. So I'm gonna be pouring in fragrance oil, turning this off. Still keeping that in there so it's still hot to blend the fragrance oil with. Okay, now I'm gonna take this off, wipe off the water, and then we're gonna pour this. Okay, I'm gonna pour this in, and I'm gonna try my best to make sure that I'm pouring it. Actually, I need to move this out of the way first. I'm gonna try my best to make sure that I'm not over pouring it, but I will do my best. There's that. Wipe this down. Then pour in this one. All right guys, so I just finished pouring all of these candles, and just so I give a little bit more information, I heated these up to around 190-ish, and then I ended up pouring them around 180-ish, and I poured in the fragrance oil between that 185 to 190 while it was still hot in the double boiler, just to make sure that the fragrance oil is really blended in with it. It actually smells pretty good. It's very, very, very sweet. I'm interested to see when it actually solidifies, because I notice that candles will smell different when they're really, really hot like this versus when they are solidified and I burn them in a candle. So I'm really interested to see how the testing process works. Again, I will make an updated video on testing these candles just so you guys can see the testing process. But please let me know if you guys enjoyed today's video. I had a lot of fun. I used to do videos like this, similar to me showing you guys actually making candles right in front of me a lot in the past. And I just haven't done that as much anymore, just kind of in this kind of setting. But please let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what kind of wax or any other kind of videos you guys want me to do, or test out, try out, anything like that. I thought it'd be interesting to see if I could make a really good candle just using Amazon supplies. So we will find out in a couple weeks how good the candles turn out. But make sure you guys leave this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.